All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is chapter 4.5 as we continue through looking at quadratic equations. We've done some factoring, and now we're going to solve quadratic equations using square roots. So we have three main things that we'll be learning in this series. We're going to be learning to use the properties to simplify a radical or simplify a square root. We're going to rationalize the denominator. And then the third thing, we're going to use these two, 1 and 2, to do the third thing, which is to solve a quadratic equation. So let's talk about these properties of square roots that we're talking about. Here's the two that we're going to focus on here today. There's more, right? And we'll look at those on future lessons, but these two for this lesson here. This first property says that the square root of AB, meaning any two numbers, A and B, is the same thing as the square root of A times the square root of B. Okay? So that's my first property. If I'm multiplying two numbers inside of a square root, that's the same thing as multiplying by the square root of these two things. Now, why is that important? Well, it helps us to simplify. For example, the square root of 18 can be broken up into the square root of 9 times 2. Notice that all I'm doing here is breaking 18 into its factors. Well, how is that helpful? It allows us to simplify this because the square root of 9 times 2 is the same thing as the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. And then the square root of 9, that's a whole number, right? That's 3. 3 times 3 makes 9, so the square root of 9 is 3. 2 is not, but we can leave it as the square root of 2. So notice we've taken this thing that's the square root of 18, not an even square root, okay, because 18 is not a square number, right? 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. And this property allows us to pull out a square factor to simplify, okay? So this first property is all about breaking the roots into parts, okay? This second one says the square root of A divided by B is the same thing as the square root of A divided by the square root of B. That's helpful because this thing that's the square root of 2 over 25, again, I don't have a number that multiplied by itself is 2 over 25, but I can use this property to break it down to root 2 over root 25. And then since 25 is a square number, I can simplify that down further. So these properties allow us to break the roots into their square factors. So let's do another couple of examples here. So we're being told to simplify root 80. And what we want to do is pull out a square number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of my square numbers. Let's do that over here. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 144. Excuse me, 121, 144. By the way, these numbers I'm not just coming up with randomly. This is 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, etc. Okay? That's why these are square numbers, because they are being squared from something else, okay? So what we're going to do with this root 80 is we are going to find the largest square factor. So, is 80 divisible by 49? No. Is 80 divisible by 36? No. Is 80 divisible by 25? No. Is 80 divisible by 16? Yes, right? 80 divided by 16 is 5, which means that I can break up the square root of 80 into square root of 16 times the square root of 5, because 5 times 16 is 80. And the reason why I want to do that is because the 16 is a square number, and I can do the square root of 16. That's 4. And then the root 5 just kind of hangs out there. So there it is. That's my simplified root. I made a list of my square numbers, and I found the largest of those that multiplies into 80. What about the next one here? Square root of 6 times the square root of 21. Well, we can use that same property that says root A times root B is equal to root A B. So root 6 times root 21 is simply root 6 times 21, which we got to do the 6 times 21. So let's see here. 6 times 20 is 120. So 6 times 21 is 126, right? Another thing, another 6 there. 126. No, that's wrong. It's 106. What am I thinking? 6. What am I doing to myself? No, we're correct. We're right. We're right. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. We're good. 6 times 20 is 120 plus another 6, 126. Whew. Okay. Now let's simplify this. Let's go through our list of numbers over here and find out, are any of them divisible, right? So we'll start high. 121, no. 100, no. 81, no. 64 goes to 128. It's close, but it doesn't work. 49, how does 49 do? Let's see. Nope, 49 doesn't work. What about 36? 126 divided by 36. Does that one work? It looks like it is close again, but nope, 36 doesn't work. 126 divided by 25. Nope, that doesn't work. 126 divided by 16. Nope, that doesn't work. 126 divided by 9. There we go. That one works, right? 126 divided by 9, that can be broken up into 14 times 9. Notice that I just went through the exhaustive list, right, of what it would be. So 126 can be broken down into 14 times 9. Well, root 14 times root 9 can be broken down further. And I know the square root of 9 is 3, so this is 3 root 14. So notice I multiplied them together, and then I simplified and broke them back apart to pull out one of the square numbers. Finally, the last one, this is our division. The square root of 4 over 81 is the square root of 4 divided by the square root of 81, which both of these are square numbers. That's 2 and 9, so that's 2/9. All right, I've got some practice for you to do back on your notes, so go ahead and do those, and then we'll see you in a couple minutes with answers in the next video.